when Kristi Noem was judge, jury, and basically executioner yesterday. That's very, very difficult to think that they were going to be fair.
All right, let's get off the sidelines, head into the arena. My panel will be here, but we want to start with our reporters on the scene. CNN's Laura Coates is live covering the demonstrations in Minneapolis. We also have CNN senior White House correspondent Kristen Holmes. But let's start in Minneapolis. Laura, you're outside the federal building there. What have you been seeing today?
Let me tell you what's going on right now. You're hearing whistles. You're seeing a caravan of cars coming in. They are Border Patrol agents inside. It has agitated this crowd. They are already very angry. You are hearing people continuously with signs, etc. They are angry. They have milk with them. They have on gas. They've been tear gassed multiple times. People have their different megaphones out right now. You see there's a whole group of agents who are over behind this very small barricade over here. There was one who was actually speaking to somebody off camera, an ICE agent inside of a car, where they were asking the person, why are you doing this? Do you really think that people should be deported in the way that you're doing so? The agent, not wanting to be on camera, not wanting to lower his mask, expressed his concern and saying that, look, it's the law. It was almost as if he was trying to suggest that, what do you want me to do? I have to follow the law. But look at the crowd here that's out right now. People are angry. They want the evidence. They're distrustful of an investigation not being independent. You have different people who are out right now who are actually speaking directly to and yelling at the ICE agents, challenging their manhood, their patriotism, and the like. They are reacting to what took place yesterday, as well as these two narratives that are happening right now. And here we go. We've got people who are yelling right now as if agents otherwise are coming out of their cars, and people who are going inside. And they are also reacting. This is Laura Ingraham, who's actually here. They're reacting right now to Fox News' Laura Ingraham going into a car. Her presence also agitating. They're blocking her path right here with cameras in her face as they're going by. Everyone wondering what the narratives will be and what the impact has been. This man carrying milk right now in his hand, obviously milk to try to counteract the effects of tear gas that has already been thrown out, and pepper spray as well. You can see on the ground different remnants of balls that have been dropped containing that very thing. The tension here is palpable. People are upset. They are compelled to come down here. They do not trust that there will be an independent investigation. And you can see everyone who's coming, even shift changes that are happening right now. If a car passes by and does not honk, they are assumed to be problematic. They're looking at agents who have their masks still on their bodies. You see them, and they are challenged right now. They have little fingers up to them, whistles going as they're trying to go through the air. Let me get out of the path. Get out of the path that we're coming in. Here we go. They're putting signs on their cars right now. Here we go. Let's get out of the way. Oh, they're coming. We've got them coming out right now. The ICE agents coming down, guns drawn right now. Some sort of agents trying to counteract right now, trying to get their colleagues into it right now as they're spraying something into the air. As right now, people are concerned. I'm going in closer right now. Excuse me. Sorry, ma'am. Here we go. You're seeing a shift change right now, Casey, happening as they are coming closer and closer. They're coming in the air right now. That's making you cough a little bit. They're coming right closer. Since I have been here, they have not gotten this close. You can see them. They're all masked. They are angry. They're asking for milk right now. They're coming in closer, and they're going back. There's something in the air right now they have going on right now. And you see behind me what's going on. I'm going to say at a safe distance right now. But, Casey, it is coming right now. Very tension. A lot of tension. We've got people around right now. About 40 or so ICE agents that are out here in the area. There is something that is in the air causing me to cough a little bit. They are retreating right now as the crowd is coming closer and closer. They are retreating back in one single line, holding the line as they're walking right now. You have people who are close and they're continuing to yell. People are covering their mouths. There's something happening right now. Casey, it's intense. It is intense. Thank you, ma'am. It's so intense right now. It's happening. They're backing up now, back behind the distance as the crowds are there. You have an elevated presence right now. But remember, we've seen people come up. They're shooting some kind of pellets. The gas has come down right now. We're going to back up a little bit more. It's in the air, Casey. We're going to get to a safe location, okay?
We're sticking with you as long as you're feeling safe, and you just let us know if you need to move to a safe location right now.
Let's go.
We will absolutely roll with that. Okay.
Someone is
Keep reading us in.
It's hard to breathe. Someone's on the ground right now. She's taken to her knees, saying "coward ICE." They have put something in the ground right now, some sort of a pellet of some type. They're facing the crowd. They're now in a constant line happening right now. There's a constant line going right now. About 40 or so people right now. They're also filming the crowd. They are filming the crowd. There's been a tear gas. People are coughing. It is in the air. Let me tell you what it feels like. It feels a little like you're choking in your chest, and it feels like you're trying to catch your breath. It inflames your nostrils. It's a burning sensation in your chest. It's a burning sensation in your actual nostrils as well. I'm not going to go further right now, but it does makes you cough. People right now are changing shifts, it appears, and behind them, but they are continuing to be there right now. Some people actually have masks on that have the American flag. People are agitated, they are angry, and now they have been tear gassed yet again in the course of this. People comparing it to chanting happening right now. There are different people happening. This person is challenging, as you can see, almost looking and imploring them to speak to them as well. You still feel the remnants of what is this gas that has been deployed in the air right now. People are making sure no one goes past what seems to be an invisible line right now on the ground. Earlier today, one of the first gassing incidents that happened was people were pushing on that little parking arm that you see right there, and that almost taunting the agents as well. And now they're actually going in and out of cars. People are coming behind, and you see in the distance different agents coming from different vehicles as well. Remember, we watch people try to come into the area in a caravan, and their cars are instantly identified, and they are instantly criticized and yelled at and berated by the crowd, who is obviously angry. Somebody has on a gas mask of sorts as well, and somebody is walking around asking who might need milk for their eyes to clear them as well. They are, they've been standing here for quite some time. There's somebody in the front, if you can zoom into the camera in the front, who's actually holding the device that seems to be deploying this gas and what's not. They're in the very front of it. Others have their hands in their pockets. They all seem to have some sort of armor on their bodies, as you hear shame being constantly repeated here with a crowd of people. You've got so many people who are in this crowd right now who are angry, who said they're coming. Look right here. You have people who on their backpacks are bringing gas masks with them in the area. You have people who are having over there as well different